Wanya back inside the wrestling basement, coming at you with what if this happens. And what I'm referring to in today's video is Randy Orton becoming the WWE champion at this year's SummerSlam pay-per-view. So without further ado, let's jump right into today's video. So first up in this video, before I touch on three, magnificent points and three magnificent things that could happen when and if Randy Orton do become the WWE champion this year, the year of 2020, which we all know has not been a good year. So first I would like to say, just leading up into Randy Orton becoming the WWE champion. Randy Orton, if he do become the WWE champion, which is what Monday Night Raw desperately needs right now, because, like I said in yesterday's video and many other videos, Drew McIntyre is not getting it right now. He really needs the fans there, to cheer him on and to get him over even more. And I feel as though Randy Orton getting a championship off of him would do, wonders for Monday Night Raw, because Randy Orton, whether the crowd's there or not, he's punt kicking people and he's putting people on the injured list. That's the type of stuff we need. And overall, as far as Randy Orton becoming the WWE champion, it's time for the pendulum of WWE to change. And by pendulum, that means it's a balance thing. Like world champions, you got Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman over there fighting for the Universal Champion. Bray Wyatt is definitely about to become the Universal Champion, so he's going to be the babyface and Randy Orton is the heel. The United States Champion, Apollo Crews is still listed as the United States Champion on WWE.com. So on the other side, you got AJ Styles. You see the balance. You got the Street Profits and you got Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. It's a balance thing, so it only makes sense for WWE to balance the whole championship dynamic out, and I feel as though Randy Orton will be the man to do so. So the first point in today's video on what if this happened in the year of 2020 and Randy Orton becoming the WWE champion, the first thing it would have to go to is, like the superstars that Randy Orton could potentially face when he do become the WWE champion. You got a lot of great world and ex-world champions on Monday Night Raw. You got superstars like Kevin Owens. Imagine a dream match between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. Now I know they didn't hint at it, they didn't fought before, but imagine what these high stakes of a WWE championship on the line. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens would definitely be a 5-star match. You got the Stunner versus the RKO. You can't go wrong. You got superstars like Jinder Mahal, which, not too many people are a fan of Jinder Mahal, but Jinder Mahal did defeat Randy Orton at Backlash for the WWE Championship. So Randy Orton might want to look over his shoulder, because the modern day Maharaja is definitely due to return back to Monday Night Raw for the second time. So he better be aware of that. And you got superstars like Bobby Lashley. Imagine a dream match between Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton. The Spear versus the RKO. Like, they've been wanting to put the WWE Championship on Bobby Lashley. It's backstage rumors that, for years people been comparing Bobby Lashley to Brock Lesnar, and it's rumors backstage that Vince McMahon, he got a big liking to Bobby Lashley, and I feel as though with Bobby Lashley's hurt business gimmick, he can definitely take the WWE Championship off of Randy Orton. And superstars like Seth Rollins, imagine the Authority 2.0, the whole rivalry. Like, when Randy Orton and Seth Rollins in the Authority, we all know Randy Orton got the best of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was running scared. So this time around, the Monday Night Messiah, he could very well take the WWE Championship off of Randy Orton, and imagine that storyline between those two superstars. So, like I said, the first point would definitely have to be just all of the rivalries and championship matches Randy Orton can have when he do become the WWE Champion, and I would definitely look forward to seeing those matches. The second thing that would happen if Randy Orton do become the WWE Champion in the year 2020 is Survivor Series 2020. Imagine, like I said earlier, we know Bray Wyatt is definitely finna become, The Fiend is definitely about to become the Universal Champion. If Randy Orton become the WWE Champion, this all brings us back to the start of, Bray Wyatt compound getting burnt down by Randy Orton. Imagine this Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt the Fiend. Now, we all know Randy Orton defeated Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, but come Survivor Series, Randy Orton got another thing coming if he was to encounter the Fiend, and I got a strong feeling Friday Night SmackDown will take home the win that night as far as world champions, because we all know, Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, they had a creepy match at WrestleMania. We witnessed that. And this time around, if Bray Wyatt was to encounter Randy Orton, it would be like no other match. I know for a fact that Bray Wyatt would definitely take the win over Randy Orton, but you gotta also imagine like the endless possibilities and how they will build this up. Will they do like flashbacks as far as this rivalry between the two superstars? You know, many people have forgot that they were the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. WWE Championship rivalry. I still remember the Elimination Chamber match where, you know, Randy Orton, he won the Royal Rumble and Bray Wyatt had just won the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber, defeating, you know, the last superstars, that being AJ Styles and John Cena. I just knew for a fact, and we always pretty gullible to think that Randy Orton was not he wasn't gonna use his WrestleMania win and challenge Bray Wyatt, and he did exactly that. So this can be like a whole comeback story that will unfold at this year's Survivor Series. So that would definitely be something I would be interested in seeing the WWE doing a flashback, and it would definitely be a 5-star match between the WWE Champion Randy Orton and the Universal Champion Bray Wyatt the Fiend. And third, and definitely not least, if Randy Orton was to become the WWE Champion in the year of 2020, not only will his championship reign be long and lengthy, but it could potentially be his last, and that would definitely tie him up to Triple H, which is his mentor. But you gotta think, the endless possibilities of him, you know, facing superstars, giving superstars opportunities. Of course, Randy Orton will win most of these storylines, but one man in particular that we all know WWE is trying to put against Randy Orton once again. If Randy Orton become the WWE Champion, we could potentially see Randy Orton versus Edge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 37, which I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but it would be a bad idea if they was to have Edge win a WWE Championship. This man is like 50-something. Randy Orton, I was never a huge fan of Edge. When he returned at the Royal Rumble, I definitely had the goosebumps. Like, just seeing a superstar, and it was so unpredictable to see that. And, you know, with him returning, it was definitely something that nobody seen coming. And for, you know, that storyline, Randy Orton punt kicking him, you know, all these drag out brawls that they'd have had since Edge's return, it would definitely be a great conclusion to see Randy Orton versus Edge for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 37. And I can see it clear as day. Similar to Christian winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania over Alberto Del Rio, we can only, you know, imagine that what if during this championship match, Chris came out there and helped Edge defeat Randy Orton, since, you know, he pretty much owe him. If you want to throw some extra sauce on top of that thing, even Big Show, like Randy Orton building up all this heat leading up into WrestleMania, his whole feud with Edge for the WWE Championship, he built up all this steam and heat and momentum, and everybody pretty much not necessarily just turned on Randy Orton, because nobody's on Randy Orton's side but Ric Flair. But you gotta only imagine that all of those superstars can play a big part into Edge, you know, climbing the ladder up to the top and becoming the WWE Champion once again, regardless of his age. I got a strong feeling that this is more than likely the route they're going to go. And, you know, I can even see, like, the Bray Wyatt situation. They're definitely going to have this, you know, whole match dynamic set up. Randy Orton, in my opinion, more than likely what we can expect for Randy Orton to win the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, go through Survivor Series, facing Bray Wyatt the Fiend, Universal Champion versus WWE Champion, and whether he win or lose, he go on to WrestleMania 37, and he go against Edge, WWE Championship on the line. And that's pretty much how the 2020 is going to go. Vince McMahon is going to do his all to, you know, have 2020, or at least make it appear as this is the best, you know, year yet to come. And I wouldn't be against Randy Orton becoming the WWE Champion, because we can all agree that with his heat and momentum, he deserved to be WWE Champion. So, like I said, that's pretty much 3 strong points that we could potentially see if Randy Orton do become the WWE Champion this year, the year 2020, which we all know how this year has been going so far. But Randy Orton has been keeping us afloat with his heelish ways. So, with that being the end of today's video, feel free to smash that like button, super kick subscribe button, comment down below, and hit that bell notification. Until next time, this is the Wrestling Basement.